much opportunity here. But it's not that easy, so I guess I couldn't find the big opportunity 7 years ago. So I thought, well, maybe I can change the direction of a big corporate, and maybe I can get some satisfaction of that. So that's where I started. And then what is a big corporate hydrocarbon company doing in a low-carbon world or with sustainability ambitions? Well, we're trying. I'm trying. Doing quite a bit. We've got 2 teams focused on this. What was your name? Sorry. As you just said, I'll give the corporate perspective and the venture capital perspective. So what are the things we look at when we're looking for opportunities that we think have a lot of potential in this clean tech space? We have 2 teams. One's called BP Ventures, where I used to work for, initially primarily investing for BP Alternative Energy, and the Castrol Innovators team where I work. So why do we do that? Why do we do venture capital style investments? Well, the reason is that this clean tech space is so fast moving, lots of new technologies, lots of business models, and there's too much uncertainty for a big corporate company to deal with that and take a bet. Well, actually we can take a bet, but we can't do it through our normal financing mechanism. So what we do is that we use this corporate venture capital style to take a bet and say, hey, I really like your idea. I'd like to help you out a bit with market access, with a bit of money, but you got to do it yourself, because if I join in full time, then we'll kill it, right? We don't want to take on these ideas too early, because I'm afraid that they wouldn't survive the corporate politics. So what we do is indeed this, that we look out for opportunities that we think this is a really good idea, or we believe we can add strategic value as a partner, as an investor and as a partner. As an investor, because that's where the money sits, the big money. As a partner, because even if you've got a brilliant idea, you're going to need market access and channels to get it in the right place. So there is a potential marriage there that's actually quite exciting between what a big corporate can bring and what an entrepreneur can bring. But it can be a bit challenging because the ways of working are so very different. So that's what we look for. In BP Ventures, we did a lot of investments. We have a portfolio of about 30 companies, 25, 30 companies now, across solar, wind, biotech, carbon management, batteries, now moving a bit more into upstream around low carbon options for oil production and all that. What I learned in this space is that it's very much along the lines of what you were saying. The technology can be so exciting, but that doesn't mean it's going to work. Especially when a lot of these technologies in the clean tech space, and I would call that the first generation clean tech, are all so capital heavy. You know, solar and wind and biofuels. You have a brilliant microbe that could eat up the sugars and give you ethanol. And yes, they're all trying to sell us. I used to see like 30 companies a week that would promise me they had the very best microbe. And that can be a valuable technology, yes. But as an entrepreneur and as an investor, if it's going to take you 10 years to prove you can use that microbe at a commercial scale in a big plant, and it's going to cost about $100 million to get to your first commercial plant, then that investment opportunity is very, very difficult. And not just for us, even though we have more patience and probably more money to spend, that's going to be a very difficult one to survive as an entrepreneur, as well as to survive as your venture capital shareholders or your angel investors or your private equity financing that will follow that. So I think what's happening now, because solar and wind and biofuels is still an interesting space, but as an entrepreneur that's starting now, we're in a new phase of the industry. So take a look at that and say, okay, where is this industry now? Let's not start with the microbes. Look at what is out there. Where are the little gaps, the unique little gaps where I can play, where it's not going to be so capital heavy. And that is a place that you could potentially find a good business opportunity. I think in CleanTech, especially where there's a bit of a marriage of IT coming into CleanTech, and the new hot word at the moment is very much resource management in industry, you know, where it becomes an obvious thing for our customers to want. Sustainability and CleanTech never sells just because it's green. Never. I can promise you that. It's, well, maybe your first presentation, but not when you're trying to follow up. It has to be an obvious, as you were saying, obvious real value proposition, an obvious problem that's solving, and oh yes, it's green at the end. And that's really where the CleanTech sector has moved towards. It's gone away from, of course we have to do sustainability, please invest in sustainability and CSR, to this is business. This is the right thing to do, and it happens to be CleanTech. So in my current team, in Castrol Ventures, it's a slightly different team. We've set that up because we believe that with our current assets in the business, around big brands, the market channels, that we could do more than motor oil. So in this space I take care of, all the CleanTech, like, hey, there are opportunities there to do something beyond lubricants. Can we stretch that, right? But when I work in this space, I've definitely learned that we're not going to do anything with Castrol and any investments unless there's a big sustainability plus performance opportunity. So yeah, and this team, what it's doing is that it's looking for new business development opportunities. So instead of investing in a portfolio like a normal venture capital team would do, like what BP Ventures did, investing in a portfolio of companies, and usually they have a strategic benefit to a business that already exists. What we're doing in Castrol is we're saying we see a new big business opportunity. For example, I'm going to take a fictive one here. It's not, please don't note down, it's not a business opportunity we're working on. Say Castrol batteries, okay? We believe fictively that in 2020 we would have a second leg of Castrol that would produce and sell batteries, right? Okay, then, okay, we believe that might be the case, but where do we start now? We don't have any electrical engineers, we don't have any production capacity. We're going to have to partner heavily on this front. So what we're doing in this team is saying we see a big business opportunity there. Who are the entrepreneurs who we can work with, either with a great technology or the great business model? Who are the big corporates we can work with? And jointly we're going to build that capability to build that business. That's the proposition on that front. But to do that, the business case has to be really exciting. So, what else did I want to say? So it's a bit of a mumble jumble without slides and without knowing I was actually going to present, but that's okay. A lot of exciting stuff happening. Let me check my notes if I have anything else to say. I guess with respect to that building that exciting new business development opportunity. And when we look at companies like yourselves, maybe in a few months, what are the things we look at? Well, it's definitely the team. It's all about the people. I probably acknowledge that. Having the right people. The VCs buy into teams. And it's not just, oh, you know what, I get really, really tired of seeing a slide up there with 6 gray men. Apologies to anyone gray. Nothing wrong with gray men. But you need diversity of experience and a bit of diversity of input there. So team, really, really important. But also, find proof of your proposition that your customers really want that as soon as possible. It doesn't even have to look like a product yet, but just start testing it. Yeah? Just start testing as soon as possible. Any proof that you can provide that will sell is going to help. Other really important things is, why do you believe you could make a good margin with that? You know, it could be such an exciting technology, such a crazy, passionate new idea, but investors aren't really going to care unless you can show that this is going to give you more than 10% at least across projects. And there are a lot of business service models that just don't even do that. And I'm having trouble selling anything below 15%. You know, it's you've got to show this is a. At the moment, the hot stuff is all in software as a service, and I'm not saying you should do that, but definitely look at service models as well. And one of the things we really look at, because the working capital of these smaller companies, especially in the first couple of years, is so challenging. What's your sales cycle? How long is it going to take you in terms of time and money to actually sell something? Because if that's unrealistic, then you're not going to be able to convince investors either. So there's a couple of different things, and any questions at the end, or